Bring in our pal Eddie Scarry. He is the author of the book Grow Up and Vote for Trump. I think that pretty much tells you where Ed is on this. And he is a columnist for the Washington Examiner. Okay, so I'm glad your book says that because everybody knows where you're coming from. But now I'm appointing you as an advisor to Joe Biden. I think that's interesting. So Biden has been shaky in his public utterings. I think that's fair to say. You have written about it, I have written about it, and it's beyond any reasonable doubt he has trouble with facts and getting a message out that's clear. What do you advise the former vice president to do during the debate?
I honestly never advise candidates really to do anything, no matter who they are. What I would say about Joe Biden is I honestly, up until recently, up until probably the last week or two, I thought this debate is probably, there's no predicting what's going to happen. But the more I've read from what the media said, first advising Biden to decline to debate at all. These are his supporters in the media saying he shouldn't even bother debating unless there's these unrealistic standards that are met by Trump, where we have fact checkers, where we have he releases all of his tax returns plus his social security number. But Biden closing every single day where he puts a lid on his campaign events. His public schedule comes out and says, "Oh, we're done for the day. Come 9:30 a.m." I'm wondering what his advisors are saying, and what could they possibly be saying at this point? My best guess is that they're really cramming him full of information. They saw, like you just said, Chris Wallace put out the topics. They're just cramming him full of information, hoping that he can stand up for long enough at the debate to make it through. So no, I have nothing to advise Joe Biden. Even if I wanted to, I literally could not name a single thing.
All right, now Donald Trump is saying that Mr. Biden should be drug tested. Because there are drugs you can take that elevate your mental acuity for a time. That looked to be a cheap shot to me by Mr. Trump. I don't think he should have done that. What do you think about it?
It didn't bother me. I think that there are questions about what's going on with Joe Biden's health. And I know that suddenly, come 2016, you were never supposed to talk about a candidate's health. You see Hillary Clinton collapsing out at the 9/11 memorial. You see her extensive history, which does have she has a thing with her thyroid that is one of the main symptoms of which is fatigue. Trump says that she's sleepy. Well, no, you can't listen to him, and that's out of bounds. You can never talk about a candidate's health. Well, no, we've always talked about candidates' health. And I think that there are questions about Joe Biden's, particularly given his age. I know that Trump is no spring chicken, but Biden, it shows. It shows a lot with Joe Biden. I don't believe, however, there's anything probably to the drug thing. I mean, if you take one Adderall, even a low dose, you're going to wake up with a severe headache and a real crash the next day. And I don't think I've seen any sign of that. Then again, he's been hidden for quite some time, so who knows? But no, I think there's probably nothing to it. And yet the point he's getting at is questioning the health, the stamina of Joe Biden. That's obviously a very, very fair question, if not especially in this case.
Yeah, but I don't think it should be done like that. I think Mr. Trump would have been wiser to basically use some of the former vice president's statements of confusion and go, he said this and didn't correct it, and I'm worried about Joe. You see, there's a way to do it where you don't come off as harsh and.
Yeah, but when did Trump ever do anything the way that you should do it?
Okay, but if Donald Trump and you, Eddie Scarry, want him to win the election, you might try that. Because right now, I have it as a dead heat, but it's no lock for Donald Trump. Now, if Mr. Trump does well tomorrow night and Biden does poorly, then I think Trump will win. Do you subscribe to that?
I agree that it's going to come down to the totality of the debates. However, if it's a knockout in the first round, I think, yes, I think Trump will probably have this locked up. But I just want to say, like you're saying, it's not a lock. That is why I wrote my book, because it is time for people to make the responsible decision. You may not like that. You may not like the way Trump tweets. You may not like the way he talks. You may not want to invite him to your Thanksgiving dinner. But sometimes growing up is not easy to do. It's not making the easy decision, the one that makes you most comfortable, but it's making the right decision for your family, for your future. And that's why I believe voting for Trump is
And that's fair enough. I
what
mean,
responsible adults have to do.
you're an American. You have a right to your opinion. By the way, I'm going to correct you on one thing. Trump would be very good at Thanksgiving dinner. I mean, that guy knows everybody. Believe me, I've been at ball games with him, and I come out of there with, whoa, and he'll tell you. Well, he'll tell me, but he's about as entertaining a Thanksgiving dinner guest as you could possibly get. Eddie, I appreciate the book again. Is Grow Up and Vote for Trump. Eddie Scarry, Washington Examiner. Thanks, Ed.